And we are back, and it's episode 26 of the Run Duo. And this we got a little something different this time. Yes. We got what's called Almost Live Run Duo. We're not streaming it. Live. It's almost live. What almost live means is I'm not streaming it because I just could not come to terms with the crappy stream look. So we're going to record it and post it on our IGTV, and we get a little Run Duo YouTube channel I'm going to set up. But if India happens to fall out of her chair, I'm not going to edit it out. I'm just going to leave it.
Don't.
So that's what we mean by almost live.
Just to let you know. So I need to keep myself in the chair, upright.
So India.
Yes.
Yes, we are the Run Duo.
We are.
My name is Tommy Mitchell.
And I am India Cook.
And this is episode, which one?
26.
26.
Yes.
Do you know that our anniversary episode is coming?
It's coming.
It's coming. Not quite yet, but it's coming. We might have to do something special.
We need to do something special for our anniversary episode.
Now, this episode, we are going to have a guest. Our guest is going to be Jerry Brown. Now, I will not put the recording of Jerry Brown on the Almost Live. The Almost Live will be just our shenanigans.
Just us.
But you definitely have to go to SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play to listen to that interview with Jerry Brown.
Yes.
Now, get this episode going.
Yes.
We both were at the premises of the Georgia Publix Marathon. We both were there.
We were there.
Now.
But you did something very different than what I did.
I did a little different. Now, see, okay, and India don't know about this. So, in the twilight of the morning, India, Cedric Harris, and Gary.
I know where you're going with this.
Proceeded to clown the hell out of me for running the marathon.
Lies.
No. I was so mad. You know what? I was later, I was like, why didn't I take that?
Lies,
y'all were clowning me. Y'all really had me bad. Y'all really had me feeling bad about running the marathon. I really was like, maybe I should have run the half. Maybe I should have run the 5K.
It was not clowning.
Why am I doing this? I'm questioning myself.
It was nothing but love and support. It's all it was. It was literally me saying, you got this. Are you ready? Like, I sent them an early morning text message. Like, that was mine. I don't know what they were doing.
Don't
but
believe
mine
this fake
was,
news that India's giving you right now.
I am out here for you. I'm about to run this 5K and be out there cheering. Like, this is what it is.
Oh my God. Anyway. So, I ran the marathon.
It was perceived differently.
India ran the 5K.
I did.
So, because with the Publix now, if you run a marathon, you have to run the full 13 and a half the 13 miles, whatever, the half marathon with everybody, and then you go back out and finish it with the other half, that other 13. So, I got to run, I guess, that full 13 course and the full, marathon course.
Right.
India got to run the 5K course. How was the 5K course?
So the 5K course was good. It actually started out up Marietta Street the same way that Road to Goal started out. So when I was running the first part, I was like, oh, this was Road to Goal's, the 8.2 mile Road to Goal. So it started out with that. It was a good course. I actually was feeling really good, surprisingly feeling good, because I had ran the 10K on Saturday. But the course was good. Excuse me.
Almost live. Almost.
He's totally not going to edit that out. My bad, y'all. Sorry. I'm good. The only thing that I would say that I was concerned about, around mile 2.5-ish. No, around about 2. When we were in the Georgia State area, they had us keep crossing the street left and right. Like that. I don't know if it just was, I don't know if it was that the police couldn't get the traffic together. Like, y'all need to stay on this side of the road versus not. But at one point we're on the left, next point we're on the right, and we're like, get it together. Because I'm like, tangent, we're going to be all over the place. And so it was like some people was on the left, some people was on the right, cars were on the right. So I don't know if it just was the police officers couldn't get it right, but it was a good race.
It was a good race. Did you? Now you did 2 races.
Yes.
That you did. I used to do that double race weekend.
I'm tired.
Because you did the Shamrock. Well, Shamrock is a double loop 10K. which sucks.
So let's talk about that. So the only reason why I hadn't done Shamrock since like 2015. But on my race schedule, it had me doing a 10K race. And so I was like, okay, the only 10K race that was there
for the cherry blossom.
For the cherry blossom.
Training for the cherry blossom.
Training for the cherry blossom, it had me doing a 10K race for this week. So for last week. And so I was like, okay, let me find a race, and Shamrock ended up being it. But yes, double loop races always mess up my mind, and we had to hit Northside Hill twice.
Ooh, yeah, I've run Shamrock. Don't worry, yes. I have.
So of course, Shamrock, for those that are not for Atlanta Station area, and if you're in Atlanta, Northside Drive Hill is literally like you see it, and it's just straight up. And so of course, after you do that first loop, and then you pass the finish line, kind of like how y'all did. You pass the finish line, and you have to go do another loop, and you know the hills that you're about to endure. But and the only thing that I didn't like about it, literally, the 5K had everybody. They had the road split right in front of the BB&T building. They had 5K on one side. They had 10K on the other side. It was so many 5K runners, not a lot, but like it was enough 5K runners that I felt like it was like 10K runners. And so by the time we hit that second loop, I was out there alone. Like I was like, there's nobody.
Not a lot of people run that because it's a double loop.
Because it's a double loop.
And you know what's crazy? One year I signed up for that thinking I could use that to get a better
qualifying time for Peachtree? Nah, bro, not that race.
Yeah, that ain't the one to do it on. That ain't the one to do it on.
I was okay. I was a little bit tired, but I still beat my time. Like I've been trying to stay within my 10K like time frame, and so I did that. But it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. But I mean I did it. I think they need to start giving medals out for Shamrock.
Yeah, they don't give any medals unless you place. Yeah, unless you place in your age group. That's one of them true 10Ks. Like you don't place. You don't place. You don't get nothing.
And I'm not used to racing nowadays without a medal, so it was kind of weird. I was like, all right.
So, you did the 5K the next day.
Yes.
Sunday morning.
I felt strong.
You felt strong. You felt
good.
Was it more of a trot than a race for you, or how did you run it?
It was a trot. It was. I decided to run with Marquesa and Jerome. And so we were just kind of at the starting line, and I was just like, let's run together. And Marquesa was like, you're not going to be dragging me. And I was like, I'm not going to drag you. We're just going to go. So I did push a little bit. I probably could have pushed a little bit more if I didn't want to stay with them. But I still had a good race. Like, I enjoyed it. I was talking crap on the route. We were dancing and stuff at the beginning. So it was just more of I'm out here to enjoy and support and to get a medal that I didn't get yesterday.
All right. Let me get this medal for the weekend.
Right, for the weekend. So it was good. I felt like I probably could have pushed. I felt really good. I had a really good Saturday night and just enjoyed myself, and I was able to wake up. At first, I was at 5 o'clock when my alarm went off. I was like, I'm about to cancel Sunday. I was about to cancel it all. But I was like, nah, let me go out here. I knew my partner Tommy was running, so I was like, I need to go out here and not flake on these people.
Don't believe that fake news. They clown me, y'all.
I did not.
Oh my God, y'all were going in. But that's okay. That's okay. Because once I got to the start line, I was like, whatever.
You trained for this, and that's what I was telling you. I texted you. I said you trained for this.
No, I'm not saying you did. But right there at the Running Nerds tent, y'all were clowning me. Going straight. I think Heather even jumped in, but that's normal. But anyway,
that's normal. Just because it's normal doesn't mean it's okay.
But anyway, it was all good. The route, because it's changed. It changed from the original. So if you ran back, was it 2017? They did Team Takedown. It was 2017.
Was it 16? 17. 17.
Whenever,
right,
I think it was 2017. Team Takedown, Publix Marathon, and everybody came to Atlanta and ran it.
Yes,
and
we sold that thing out.
But actually, I think it might have hurt Atlanta running more than it helped it, because I think everybody left Atlanta like,
I ain't never running Atlanta no more.
Ain't running Atlanta no more. And I really think that really did happen, because you talk to people, they're like, nope. Yep. Even when I said, well, they changed the course, hey. But they're like, it's still in Atlanta, though, right? No. So anyway,
I heard it was more scenic.
See, I don't know. I don't care how.
You were just racing.
No matter what shape I'm in, when I'm running a marathon, I don't see hardly anything when I'm running. I'm usually like almost focused in front of me just to make sure I don't trip over a pothole or something like that. Right. So I rarely see scenery. I mean, And I'm from Atlanta. I've seen it before.
Yeah.
So
the biggest change is that they did take out the Decatur area, right?
Yeah,
like they took out that area.
Honestly, I like the run up to Decatur because I felt like that was flat. I felt like I could stretch my legs a little bit on that straight out to Decatur. Now, of course, coming back, you're coming through those neighborhoods and you are hitting hills.
Right.
So anyway, the basic thing is you go around the city. The regular, and I'm thinking that's the same half marathon course that they've always had. I don't think that actually changed. Some people said it did, but the last time I ran the half marathon, that looked like the same course to me.
Okay.
So anyway, you run around the city on the half marathon course. So if you're running a marathon, you come all the way back to the start line, and you watch all the they split you right there. Marathoners, half marathoners. You watch all the half marathoners.
Finish.
Run off to
the finish.
Drink up all the beer. They all get back. Everybody's patting them on the back. Everybody's loving them. And you go off. And it was hilarious.
Going for another 13.
It was hilarious. And I want to shout out Juan Mina, because Juan, I know he was following his fiance, but she was running the half. She must have been pretty close to me.
Okay.
Because literally every corner I turned, Juan was there.
Go Juan.
Every time I was like, dude, if I knew you were going to be here, I would have rolled with you. I mean, because every time, literally, so I think she must have been close to me, and he was at the finish too.
Okay.
When I was coming up to make my turn to go to the rest of the marathon, and it was funny because as you're coming through, people are cheering, go, and this guy running by me, and we turn, and you turn right there like you're going behind the CNN Center. Mm-hmm. So you turn right there and go up, and like the guy beside me goes, "Now we're alone."
Right. Literally, and that's all the cheers.
Now we are alone, and that's
so.
Pretty
How
true.
was that for you? Like mentally, like to
you know what? I think it took a lot out of me because literally I ran the first half pretty comfortably. I really didn't feel. I didn't feel tired. I felt pretty good. I think I hit the half. I hit that part. I said I hit at 2:10. Heather said the thing said 2:13. Whatever. Anyway. So, to me, I felt like if I had just signed up for the half, I could have run a 2-hour, if I was just running to do the half.
Right.
But I was running really easy. I was running with the 4:30 group.
Okay.
And I got a little bit ahead of them at that point. But I was running, within myself. I wasn't tired or anything. But I ain't gonna lie. When I turned that corner, everything, like my body was like, we still gotta go some more?
We still gotta go.
Exactly. That's exactly like my body's like, we still going?
Right.
But anyway, it was an interesting course. Like, literally, you could tell they were trying not to cross major highways because, it costs more money to shut them down. Because we actually went on, there's a bridge that goes over, I don't know what road that is, that runs there behind Mercedes-Benz and where the dome would have been. But there's a street that runs back there, and there's a MARTA station right here. But there's a street that's a major road, and we literally ran on the bridge that takes you across it. Like, they wound us around.
Well, I know they're doing a lot of construction, and they were also taping a movie right over there, so that may be why.
Maybe they got me on film. But anyway, they run. You kind of do a little circle and go across the bridge. You go through, of course, the AUC.
Right.
You see Morehouse, Spelman, Morris Brown. You see all of that. Now, this is the thing that bothered me.
Okay.
Now, of course, there's hills. I mean, I'm not surprised anybody. It's not a hot take. There's hills in Atlanta.
Right.
But this is what kind of bothered me. So, at one point, with it, like 2 miles. Oh, and let me I want to shout out Heather King. Heather King set up at mile 16.
Yes.
0.5, and she had it set up. She had the pickle juice. She had it all set up.
Oranges. She had everything for y'all.
Angie O'Neill was over there. Carrie Fox was over there. I'm sorry if I'm missing anybody, but she had quite a few people over there that were cheering people on. So thank you very much. Actually, they had to kick me out. They're like, "Look, you got to keep running."
Because
I go lie. I ran. Stopped. They had a little high five thing. I ran through it, and then after she photographed me, I walked back around like, "Let me see what you got at your table."
You took a pit stop.
I stopped, took a couple photos. But they were like, look, you got to keep running.
Right.
This pit stop. Keep going. Right. So anyway, but I wanted to shout her out. But anyway, you get to a point where you're running under the Olympic, over by Turner, what was Turner Field? Mm-hmm. The Olympic rings. Right. So you run under the Olympic rings. Now, that is where you start the Thanksgiving half. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I didn't actually go physically check this out because I've run the Thanksgiving half plenty of times. But I'm pretty sure if you can run from the Olympic rings directly to Centennial Park, and that's about 2 miles.
Yes.
We had 2 miles
straight
to go.
Down.
That would be 2 miles, and it's downhill. Okay.
These motherfuckers ain't going another way.
Okay. You know how you ever been in a car with somebody and you think you know where you're going, and then like they turn another direction?
Yo, you be like, where you going?
Exactly. Because they went, instead of going and heading like that way towards Centennial Park, it went like this. I was like,
wait a minute.
Because you come down, you know how you come down.
Yeah,
I guess it's Piedmont?
towards the Capitol.
Yeah, so you come down towards the Capitol, and usually you keep going, and I think at the Thanksgiving half, I don't know, you turn on one of those streets. Mm-hmm. I think you want to turn on DeKalb, and it takes you by Centennial Park.
Correct.
No, they come down, you get to right before the Georgia State MARTA station, and they busted a right. And they busted a right, and they worked us around till we got to Oakland Cemetery. Okay. So they get to Oakland Cemetery.
Sounds about right.
Let me tell you something, India.
You was pissed.
Y'all think I'm playing. I literally almost picked up my phone and called the Atlanta Track Club to leave a voicemail. What the hell y'all doing? Because you can run straight. It's downhill. What's the problem with running downhill?
Right. It was too much like right.
I've calmed down since then.
Good.
And the thing is, I can't.
Crushed your marathon.
No, I didn't. I didn't crush nothing. I finished. I ain't crushed nothing. I finished. But I'll say this: I'm glad I finished. I was half trained. I was ready for a half marathon. I was not ready for a marathon. But we getting there. But I finished. And after looking at everybody else that ran the marathon, because I was like, I'm not gonna compare the two because I'm not in the same shape. I was in spectacular shape when I ran for Team Takedown.
I hear you.
I'm in shape to finish this time, so I didn't want to say one was harder than the other. Mm-hmm. But when I looked at everybody else's comments, a lot of people liked it.
Yeah, a lot of people liked some really good things about the route.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that like the route, and it could be I wasn't in shape, and I'm not. Usually when I'm running those kinds of races, I'm in better shape, so I felt like, okay, this sucks. Right. So anyway, but still. Somebody looked at the map in Atlanta and decided to give us an extra hill. That's all I'm saying.
I think you did very well, Tommy.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You did it.
I did. Okay, what else we got? What else? That's my synopsis of the Publix marathon. So what else we got?
So, as we are talking about, I guess, Atlanta Track Club. So, of course, the trials are coming here in Atlanta in 2020. So, thank you, Darrell sent us a very nice article about the qualifying system that is changing. The standards are changing for the Olympics that's going to be taking place in Tokyo in 2020. And these qualifying standards are
harder.
They're harder.
They stepped them up, definitely. I read it today at lunch, and they stepped them up.
So, the women's marathon time changed from 2:45 to 2:29:30. That's a big jump. Yes. From what it was in 2016 to what it is now. Mm-hmm. And then the men's went from 2:19 to 2:11:30. Mm-hmm. So basically, the new qualifying system is changing how people can qualify for the Olympics. And basically what they're saying is that you can qualify, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tommy, because I know we both read the articles, and I think all of us were like, what? It was a little confusing, right? Like, it was a little confusing.
Yeah, it was crazy confusing.
But it seemed as if it's basically taking place, it could be minimizing your ability to get into the Olympics by using Olympic trials, whereas you would be using the world major marathons as your time versus the Olympic trials.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and the thing is, the U.S., and I haven't studied this. I didn't go look it up. Don't send me no emails like I'm wrong. Right. But a lot of countries don't have Olympic trials. Mm-hmm. A lot of countries already use world majors for the marathons. A lot of countries already use, Tokyo. Right. Tokyo, Japan uses that marathon as how they kind of gauge for the Olympics as well. And then world championships for like track and field events, they use world championships as ways to gauge for their Olympic trial. And a lot of countries just pick people. Right. Like just based off of who knows what they're picking off of. Right.
So they're basically going to be accepting all athletes who achieve the entry standards, but then they are going to backfill it with the people that make the base ranking for the new world ranking system. So they're still looking at the world ranking system, but of course the qualifying times for the world ranking system are stiff, like what we just mentioned. So the 2:11:30 and the 229.30 is now what the standards is. So if your mind as an elite runner, if you were only focusing on that 245 and trying to get kind of in the top ram for the Olympic trials, you got to step your game up.
You either got to come to the Olympic trials and run that time. Because you could be in the top 3 and they be like, well, no, you didn't qualify.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that the mindset of what the Olympic trials that's coming here in Atlanta in 2020, it's no longer 245 to get in. Like, it's literally, the time is stiffer, and it's not just you getting in the top 3 or the top 10 to be able to qualify for the Olympics. That's not it anymore. No. And so I think that that's what's really interesting. And Rich, which is the director of Atlanta Track Club, of course, responded to the article that was put out by Let'sRun.com, and basically said he hopes that they reconsider and change what it is in regards to the standards, because he's saying that they don't want them to minimize what the Olympic trials looks like in the significance of the Olympic trials.
Well, I'm like that too, because it looks like they're trying to control how countries pick their Olympic athletes. Right. Personally. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the whole thing is, it is exciting to see some guy, like Rich was saying, what if this guy who's been injured all season, right? He gets ready and makes it to the Olympic trials, and he comes in top 3. Right. But because he hasn't run all season because he's been injured, he doesn't have the points or the times to actually qualify.
Exactly. Because they're saying that the new system, top 10 in world majors basically automatically get in. But the top 3 in the trials, it makes it hard. You don't automatically get in. Yeah. So it kind of minimized probably the excitement of the trials. And like, you really have to go to these majors and bust behind in the majors and not necessarily the Olympic trials. Well,
they say they're doing it to make it so that these top athletes can't skip meets. Like, you got to go to these meets and run up against other runners to make it to the Olympics.
Exactly. So they're making you train harder during your off season, not just train for the trials. And I think that that's what they're trying to minimize. But I don't know. Like, some people don't like to do that. I mean, I know some people that I follow, a lot of elite that I follow on Instagram, and they do run the majors. You know, they're out here doing the races. They're out here doing it. But these qualifying times are stick.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Things change.
They do.
I mean, like, you know, if things change, we might go to this and, 5 years from now, nobody will care. Mm-hmm. But right now, yes, it seems like, at least from America's point of view, how we do it is like, really? Because we feel like, hey, anybody with the Olympic trials, anybody. Like, I could just, like, I ain't run all year, but you know what?
I'm about to come in.
I'm about to go out here. Because that's what Rich kind of said. He's like, spectators, everybody, you got a shot if you can finish in the top 3, regardless of what the rest of your year look like. But it's kind of like, I understand where they're coming from, because it's almost the same thing with, like, now that they have playoffs in college football and playoffs in college basketball, it almost gets rid of your year. Right. All you got to do is make it to the playoffs. Right. And then anything can happen. Exactly. Whereas it kind of, because, like, I don't watch college basketball during the season. I watch
March Madness only.
That's all I watch. Because what's the point? What's the point of watching it unless you really got a team that you love? And I kind of think that what they're trying to do is make it so that you gotta do the season. You can't just wait until the Olympic trials and that's where you decide to do it.
So it's gonna be interesting. I would love to hear from some of the elite, just kind of how they feel, or even if I mean, I'm pretty sure they've heard about these standards changing because it's coming up pretty soon. But I would like to hear kind of what they think, because it's gonna be interesting.
It just, it makes somebody not want to, like, because a lot of elites will skip a world major to run the trials now. But with this,
it's making
you're gonna run the world major and not gonna run the trial, because I mean, you can still get in if you're that kind of person.
That's exactly what has to happen. So,
well, I got one thing I did want to go over before we get ready to go and end our almost live. Yes. So I'm an Audible guy. Yes, I listen to books. I don't really read them because that is why it's a pain in the butt.
The other day, this fool asked me if I had a bookshelf, and I was just like, yes. He was like, but why?
Well, I mean, there's so many different ways to get information from books now. And it's less about buying an actual book. It's more about, why do you keep it after you read it? You got the knowledge, pass it on to somebody. But anyway, so and hold on a second. Here we go.
Don't fall out my chair.
Exactly, don't fall out my chair. So I listened to this book, and it was really good, actually. It's called Good to Go, and I'm going to pull it up really quickly here before we get out of here, if I can, on my phone. But it's called Good to Go, and it's by a young lady named Christy Ashwandit. And basically, Good to Go is, it talks about it talks about recovery. And she kind of makes it, a scientific thing. She talks about different recovery techniques that a lot of them are like tried and true. Like people will read and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. She even said when she was making the book, and she actually brought out the scientific evidence that what you're doing does not help you recover. They didn't believe her. Right. They would send her emails, no, you don't know what you're talking about. But she everything was scientific. It wasn't just her doing it. And just to kind of give an example, and I was telling you earlier, they did talk about Mike, our
Wardian.
Mike Wardian, because he says to fall asleep on the plane when he's flying around doing all those marathons for the 7 continents, 7 days. He uses a not a sleep app, but a meditation app. So that was one of his recovery rates. Exactly, calming, which I would think so on that plane.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so
you need something.
Yeah, but he says it doesn't really always put him to sleep, but it calms him and helps him. He thinks refocus and start his recovery. But the main one I want to talk about, because this is one that everybody talks about, ice baths.
Yes.
Everybody. I mean, I don't really do them just because
I do them.
I don't do it because I'm not putting my chips and niblets in that cold ass water.
Yeah.
But people swear by ice baths. Now, let me just tell you what she said. And I hope this makes you go out. It's on Audible. You can go buy it. Good to go. Go check it out. But basically, this is what she said about ice baths. First off, she said it depends when you're doing them.
Okay.
Because, yes, it will slow down inflammation. But she said if you are actually in your training season, what you're trying to get your body to do is to adapt to your training. By taking the ice bath, you are actually slowing that process down because you need the inflammation.